I've already done it for fantasy. Now it's time to launch for the stars. Which science fiction series, from the Golden Age to the modern masters, truly rise above the best by the numbers? Sales, acclaim, fan love, it's all here. Get ready for the top 20 science fiction book series since 1950, ranked by hard data, not fan bias. Some of these will be obvious to you, some might blow your mind. And at least one, yeah, it's gonna start some argument in the comments. Hey everyone, I'm Jim. Welcome back to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where my son Zach and I talk about fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. All sorts of things in between. If you enjoy ranking great stories, debating epic worlds, and discovering new favorites, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Tap that notification bell and give the video a like while you're at it. It really helps our channel grow. And of course, a special shout out to our Patreon supporters. You're the warp drive that keeps this show moving forward. If you'd like to join our Patreon community, there's a link down in the show notes. Take a look, check out our page, see what benefits come along to those who give us a little helping hand. So here's what I did for this episode. I wanted to uncover which science fiction book series have truly dominated the genre since 1950. Not just the ones we think are legendary, but the ones the numbers confirm are on top. To qualify, a series must have 4 or more books in the series. And of course, some of them have way more than that. And they have to have started 1950 or later, so the dawn of modern sci-fi as we know it. From there, gathering the data, I examined 3 main factors. Total estimated sales over time. Not how much money they made, but how many books were sold. Critical acclaim. I looked at the awards, the influence, the recognition by the literary community, and I balanced that out with fan ratings, averaging the reviews across Goodreads, Storygraph, and Amazon to capture what readers really think today about these books. When all that data was compiled, weighed, ranked, well, we get the results that I have to share with you today, and it's fascinating. I was surprised by some of this. Now, keep in mind, this is not my personal list. Some of these I have not read yet. They're waiting on my TBR. But I looked at the data, and I've got results for you because the data doesn't lie. We start the countdown then with number 20, which is Revelation Space by Alastair Reynolds. 5+ core novels and story collections, 2000 to 2018. Gothic, big idea space opera where ancient machine plagues and post-human agendas collide with very human motives. Hard sci-fi scale with mystery thriller propulsion. Why at number 20, the bottom of the list? Well, the critics adore it. Readers rate it really high, and it's got more scale than NASA's budget. Just not the blockbuster sales of the giants that are above it here now. For number 19, The Liaden Universe by Sharon Lee and Steve Miller. Over 20 novels and collections stretching from 1988 to the present day. And I said Liaden Universe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. This one I'm not familiar with until doing this episode. What does it seem to be about? It's a polite society space opera with duels, trade, family oaths, and found family romance. And it spans planets and generations. Cozy vibes meet scalpel-sharp world building. It comes in at 19 because it's hugely beloved by its loyal fan base, and it's endlessly rereadable according to them, but it's still flying under the radar of mainstream readers. Number 18 has much more name recognition. Old Man's War by John Scalzi. 7 novels, 2005 to 2015. Senior citizens trade retirement homes for all new battle-hardened bodies and one last shot at saving humanity. Then discover the politics behind eternal youth. Military sci-fi with wit, heart, and big stakes. It's appropriate at number 18 as it's smart, funny, heartfelt, and wildly popular in its decade, but it's not quite got galactic level sales. Number 17 is one of my favorites in sci-fi these days, Red Rising Saga by Pierce Brown. 6 books so far, began in 2014. The seventh and potentially final book in the series is expected early 2026. Roman Revolution meets space opera. A color coded caste society births a rebel who rises from underground slave to solar system shaker. YA to adult escalation with gladiator grit and operatic betrayals. It comes in at number 17 because of its massive modern fandom, high octane energy, and it's rising fast. I mean, again, this is still a current one. People are still discovering it, but it's still too young to overtake some of the veterans higher up on the list. For number 16, another of my favorites, The Expanse by James S. A. Corey. 9 novels plus numerous novellas and short stories. This started in 2011 and wrapped up in 2021. Working class space opera, where a ragtag crew trips over an alien proto-molecule and a solar system's fragile politics. Big scale, bigger heart. This is critically adored, a Hugo-winning series, and a hit with readers, but it's still mid-tier in raw sales numbers. More people need to read this one. For number 15, we go to the Honor Harrington series by David Weber. 14 plus core Honor Harrington novels, and then the wider Honorverse adds more to this. There's quite a bit more to read. The whole thing kicked off in 1992 and is still being published. Age of Sail tactics go faster than light as an ace tactician navigates politics, war, and a lot of missiles. Tactical nerdery meets character-driven stakes. 8 million books strong, a milestone of military sci-fi, but niche next to the genre's household names. So, number 15. For number 14, we've got the Forkosican Saga by Lois McMaster Buchholz. 16 plus novels and novellas. This came out in 1986, and the last one was in 2018. Court intrigue, galactic politics, and one cunning, physically fragile hero who keeps outmaneuvering empires. Science fiction adventure with romance, ethics, and razor wit. It comes in at 14 because it's got multiple Hugos, deep fan devotion, and stellar writing, and the critics love it, but the spreadsheets don't hit it quite as high. It doesn't have the number of sales to get any higher on the list. Number 13, the Space Odyssey series by Arthur C. Clarke. 4 novels, 1968 to 1997. Humanity meets a cosmic nudge toward evolution with HAL 9000 and monoliths leaving fingerprints on our destiny. Big idea sci-fi that became cultural bedrock. Cultural immortality is guaranteed for this series, but with only 4 books, sales fall short of going any higher up. There's mega franchises above it that just have sold more copies. Number 12, the Rama series, also by Arthur C. Clarke and Gentry Lee. 4 main novels, 1973 to 1993. Humans explore an alien craft, a mysterious cylinder the size of a world that enters the solar system, and it's equal parts wonder and warning. Later books expand the mystery into interstellar politics. It comes in at number 12 with Hugos and Nebulas galore for that original volume, but diminishing returns across the sequels. They hold it down here to mid-pack. Number 11, The Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. 4 novels, 1989 to 1997. This is described as Canterbury Tales in Space. Pilgrims trade stories en route to the Shrike, and the payoff folds theology, AI, and time into a mind bender. The back half of the series pivots to sweeping space opera, and most people don't find that quite as good, actually. Critically untouchable, I mean, that first book rocked it with the reviews and the awards. It's beloved by many fans, but the numbers are more elite book club status than mass market. Your brain has to work too much on this. We move into the top 10 with the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. 10 novels, 1987 to 2012. A post-scarcity utopia run by hyper-intelligent AIs, metals, ethically-ish, in less advanced civilizations. Thought experiments that explode into thrillers. It makes number 10 because it's philosophical, funny, and brilliant, a critic's darling and reader favorite, but never quite turned into a bestseller machine. Number 9, Ender's Saga by Orson Scott Card. 15 plus novels across the Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow lines, 1985 to 2016. It starts off with a genius child soldier trained to save humanity, who then spends the rest of his life feeling terrible about it. Later books pivot to philosophy, xenology, and redemption. It comes in at number 9 because it's racked up these Hugos, these nebulas. It's used in classrooms. There's 10 million copies of Ender's Game alone. This is sci-fi royalty, and with not as many books as others, it does sell a lot of them. And it's got staying power. People are still finding Ender's Game today. For number 8, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Now, there's actually 5 to 6 books in the series, depending on the edition, the way it was published, 1979 to 2008. Earth explodes, bureaucracy thrives, and the answer to life is 42. We hitch a ride with a towel, a depressed robot, and too many improbabilities. Cosmic comedy that aged disturbingly well. It's here at number 8 with humor that holds up for decades and 15 million books sold. Proof that absurdity sells when done brilliantly. Now, number 7, one of my favorites, the Dragon Riders of Pern series by Anne McCaffrey. Over 20 novels, started in 1967, and the final one, so far, came out in 2018. On a lost colony world, telepathic dragons and riders fight cyclical alien spores. Thread. This is equal parts frontier sci-fi and courtly drama, inspiring accessible gateway science fiction for generations. There's over 18 million copies sold of this series, and it includes historic firsts for women in sci-fi awards. It's a true classic that still soars. For number 6, Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. 7 core novels plus some tie-ins, 1951 to 1993. Quite a span. Psychohistory predicts the fall of empire. A plan to shorten that dark age to follow runs into a wild card called human nature. Grand strategy sci-fi with mystery flourishes. There's over 20 million copies of these books sold, a Hugo for best all-time series, and it's still the blueprint for galaxy-scale storytelling. Number 5, The Dune Saga by Frank Herbert, and later his son Brian Herbert partnering with author Kevin J. Anderson. 6 original novels by Frank Herbert, 1965 to 1985, and then numerous and extensive prequels and sequels continuing to this day. Feudal empires, spice-fueled prophecy, and ecology as destiny on the desert planet Arrakis. The definition of operatic, idea-dense SF. There's over 20 million copies of this series sold, multiple Hugos and Nebulas garnered, and the cultural impact is practically religious. Now you gotta be wondering, Foundation was 6? Dune was 5? What could be in the top 4? I told you there'd be some surprises, and here's the first one. Number 4 is Animorphs by K.A. Applegate. 54 main novels plus companions, 1996 to 2001. Do you remember these books? 5 teens get alien tech that lets them morph into animals at the cost of their innocence. Under the kid-lit veneer lurks body horror, moral gray, and war. But there's 35 million copies sold of this series, and it brings decades of nostalgia and proof you should never underestimate kids' fiction. Number 3, The Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. 5 novels, 2008 to 2025. A televised death match becomes the spark for revolution. Then the prequels reframe propaganda and power. YA dystopia with adult-level bite. Over 100 million copies have been sold of the series. Its pop culture legacy is still burning bright. No reaping shall be required. Now, number 2, the Star Trek novels. By various authors, there's over 800 novels and collections across various lines. First one came out in 1967, and they continue to be published to this day. From the original series to Picard, the novels expand canon, switch eras, and let side characters steal the show. A shared universe reading galaxy with 85 billion copies sold across hundreds of titles. It's boldly selling where no series has sold before. Now there's one left. Have you guessed it? The last one might have given you a clue. Number 1 is the Star Wars Expanded Universe. By various authors, 850 plus novels, references, and children's lines printed starting in 1976 and still coming out. From the Skywalkers to the unknown regions, the novels built a second galaxy alongside the films, introducing icons who jumped back to the screen. The archetypal media tie-in library. Over 100 million books have been sold and counting. Whatever metric you pick, this one is the Force. Okay, now I actually have one honorable mega outlier. It's non-English, but it's a pulp giant, and I just want to give it some love because my research put it up here. Perry Rodan series by a rotating German author team. 3,000 plus weekly Romanheft novellas and spin-offs. Started in 1961 and it's still happening. Reportedly, there's over 2 billion copies sold worldwide. 2 billion copies, primarily in Germany. But this is the most sold sci-fi prose series ever. Why is it not on my actual list? Well, it absolutely qualifies. It's got more than 4 books in the series, and it started after 1950, and it would be number 1 by sales, but I'm flagging it separately because of its format, these weekly pulp novellas. It's atypical compared to the standard SF novels that I was really looking at and that I really consider on my channel. But still, wow, props, man. That is a heck of a run. And there you have it, the ultimate data-driven countdown of the most successful and acclaimed science fiction book series of the modern era. There's tons of other great sci-fi out there to read, but these are the ones that are winning when it comes to the numbers. Now I want to hear what you think. Did your favorite make the list? Which ones on this list do you think should be higher or lower? And what hidden gems would you include if we went purely by influence, perhaps, instead of the numbers? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I do love seeing them, and I try to respond to them all. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please support our channel. Again, like, subscribe, and consider our Patreon page. Take care. Keep exploring new worlds. We'll talk to you next time.